Good Sunday morning. Welcome to another edition of the Sunday Rise on a special day. Today is the 3rd of September, a day I'll always remember, because that was the day that my daddy died. Never got a chance to see him. Never heard nothing but bad things about him. Mama, I'm depending on you to tell me the truth. And I'm sitting here trying to find the truth with none other than probably one of the biggest David Ruffin fans you'll find in the Midnight Rider.
What's up?
A man that needs no introduction. When we were in high school, he had a falsetto, was just as pretty as Eddie Kendricks, and he always tells you keep on trucking, baby. It's the boss, BJ.
What's up,
Fellas? How y'all feeling today, man?
Tired.
Great day, man. College football is back and came back with a splash, so I'm good.
Agreed. We're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna jump right into the big news, and that is Colorado versus TCU. There was a lot to be said about that pregame. You know, I seen some fans that had some signs that said Deion lost more toes than Colorado had wins last year, and then they went out and they shut TCU and their fans up on their home turf. I give it to the Midnight Rider. I'm sure you got some stats for me.
Oh, hold on, stop. They said Deion lost more toes.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a little kid.
I hope that was college game day.
No, that was a little. It was a little. He had a sign.
Oh, I love it. I love college football, baby. I mean, where do you want me to start? You want me to give you some numbers? You want to talk about what happened? You tell me, and I'll go. All right, so let's talk about some of the stats from yesterday. First and foremost, the Colorado offense looked excellent, looked unstoppable. Shedeur Sanders went for 510 yards and 4 touchdowns. Travis Hunter had 11 receptions, 119 yards. Edwards, their running back, had 5 receptions for 135 yards, 3 TDs, and then he also had 6 rushes for 24 yards and a TD. So this kid walked away with 4 touchdowns, and I think he was the kid that was in Deion's program when he was coaching the kids. He had a kids program he started up. This is one of the kids, one of the graduates from that program. Jay Horn had 11 receptions for 117 yards and a touchdown. And then if you thought that TCU was just going to roll up in the ball and cry, you at the wrong place. TCU's quarterback, Morris, had 279 yards passing, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. And the fun fact about him is he was the initial starter last season, but he got hurt week 1, and that's how you ended up with Max Duggan and company. Trey Sanders, the Alabama transfer, 15 carries, 46 yards, 3 touchdowns. They got a tight end, Jay Wiley, 6 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, these boys put up points, put up numbers. If you were a big fan of the over, you would have probably hit big time. For me, my boy hit me up last minute, was like, yeah, Colorado plus 800 to win outright. So I threw a little money to that. So we got some new shoes on the way. No, I'm joking. But yeah, we got a nice little hit yesterday. So Colorado just came in with high expectations. I don't even say high expectations, high demands. Because the way Deion carried himself and carried this program, I think college football fans got a little annoyed at his antics. Some of us didn't, because we know who Deion is and what he stands for. So I'm glad he got that win away, and hopefully he'll get this team bowl eligible, and they can do some stuff. BJ, you got anything for me?
I'm looking at their schedule.
So they got Nebraska next.
They got Nebraska next. They got
Nebraska
Oregon. They got
Mhm.
Oregon September 23rd. They got USC and USC the week after that. What realistically, we got the hype around the team. Wherever Deion Sanders go, Coach Prime go, it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be the Rock Show leaving town coming in, and naturally you're going to have people that love it and hate it. But realistically, where do you see this team? I mean, because there were times where, and I think this is with any team. It's not just when we talk about forming a super team or whatever. And I'm not saying they're a super team, but you still have to gel and learn your pieces. And I love that Deion comes in and holds the bar high. Like if you can't touch this bar, you can't be on the team. I'm putting this bar up here. I'm gonna give you time because you haven't, especially if you were a guy that I haven't touched or was in this program before, because I know the bar was down here. But I'm gonna put this bar up here, and if you don't show me you want it, because sometimes you don't have to touch the bar. If you give that effort to touch the bar, that's enough. If you strength, you give that. That's as long as you see that. But with that bar up there, is this team cruising for a big like deflation, or can he turn this team around this year and make some noise and possibly Shedeur Sanders, Heisman, if he keeps throwing the way he's throwing the ball? Will Colorado get that? I mean, they're getting the attention, but will they get that? Will they get the hardware? Is this team set up to get the hardware at the end of the season?
If you're talking national championship, no, they're not ready.
No,
yet.
not national championship. No, I'm not.
I'm
not that delusion. I'm not the big guy KG saying that Rex Chapman should have went 92 MVP or some shit. I'm not. We're not gonna do that.
Whoa! Why not catching strays? Whoa!
Oh man,
I'm catching strays.
I'm just shooting from the hip, man. If it hits you, I'm sorry, man.
Damn.
Oh man, what's the realistic expectations for this Colorado Buffalo team? Can Shedeur Sanders? Will they give it to him? When they give it to him, that's my thing. If he has the season we think he's going to have, because he's had the training and stuff, he got Coach Prime and all his resources. Can he etch his name in that Heisman? Can Colorado make some noise this year and take that stepping stone for season 2, where now we're talking about possible,
national championship expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, I had this team. I felt like it would be a success if they won 7 or 8 bowl games. If they could get bowl eligible, right around that 7 number would be nice. If they can get 8, that's even better. I think Oregon and USC is going to tell us a lot about them. But next week is one of those games that, as a coach, you got to bear down a little bit, because you came out, you shocked the world to an extent. People weren't expecting you to beat this TCU team because this team was in the national championship last year. But now you got expectations, and when you were talking, it's funny because I could hear one of the guys I used to coach with, this guy Daryl Tucker, used to say, when our kids struggled, he was like, these Bammers don't like prosperity. So you got to be careful. Because if these kids don't like prosperity, the next week is a game they'll fall into a trap on, because they'll be reading too many of their clippings of how great they did this past Saturday. But that's a game they should definitely get. I didn't see too much from Nebraska. I haven't watched them this year, but I know Jeff Sims is there, the Georgia Tech transfer at quarterback. So the kids play ball. But I got to say, just from a watching standpoint, Shedeur Sanders, I thought he looked good last year, but he looked even better yesterday. He looked calm in the pocket. His feet looked settled. He was on point. His accuracy was, I wasn't expecting him to be that accurate. He was definitely, as one of my boys used to say, he was sewing on buttons yesterday. So the nothing but up for this program. This is a big win. Now you gotta start making it too. You gotta get another one next week and just putting wins together, putting hay in the barn, as they say.
And I think that's what I'm worried about with the Colorado team. I'm worried about because every game for them, because of the attention they're getting, every game, I don't care how bad the other team is going to be them fighting for their lives. Because the other team they're on national TV. You know, they're going to get attention that they normally wouldn't get. And then, you know, you're going to have that natural resentment because the other team is getting so much attention. And they got Deion Sanders on the other side, and they got brand new locker rooms and weight rooms and all this. You know, their program is on the map, and you feel like you deserve more. So you got to deal with that every game this season. And I think that Oregon game is going to either, I don't want to say sink or swim, but I think it would help them if they can stand their ground. If they beat them and they're 4-0 after that, I think the storm will calm a little bit and be like, okay, this team is for real. You know,
if they go into Oregon and win, that train is going to be so bananas, so off the track, and they're 4-0. This program that last year was 1-11 and was blown out by 20 points in like 10 ball games. Colorado, the state of Colorado will be on fire. Deion can go anywhere, get a drink. These players, like, they're going to have so much attention and success. And I already think that if it isn't etched in stone, I think that game, that week, whatever week that is where College game day is going to be.
It got to be. It has to be. It has to be. I don't even think they have to win. I think they have to have if they have a good showing, kind of like this TCU game where they're in the game and it's back and forth, and then people can really sit back and be like, okay, the hype is real with Colorado. This is for real. This is, and you saw it yesterday, but you got to factor in that first week excitement and all the everything that goes with that. But once this team settles down and get these Nebraska Cornhuskers, the Colorado States out the way, and then you got to go to Oregon. Now we talking, big money. Now we talking. I'm placing my bet on FanDuel for total team over under passing yards. 1,200 yards over under. This is that's you go get your wings, your beer. You go sit down and watch that entire game, and you tape your wife to the wall with a little bit of crazy glue to ensure the tape stays. And you sit down and watch this game. I think that's gonna be the like you said, the college game day, spectacular.
I think the beauty of college football is you don't get to see this team until week 1, so you don't know what to expect. And I tell you, right now, when I saw Colorado's first drive, I was like, we good. They're good. They're going to be dangerous just off their first drive. And you're talking about Shedeur Sanders for the Heisman, but you got to start thinking about Travis Hunter.
Yes, yeah, and no disrespect. Oh my goodness,
Travis Hunter should have had like 300 yards receiving yesterday. He dropped 2. They were tough catches, but he dropped 2 on them. And then the fact that this kid is playing a high level of DB, he's almost giving you the college football version of Shohei Ohtani. Now, he hasn't done it consistently enough, but this is some type of Ohtani type stuff where you're dominating or being dominant on both sides of the football at the position you play. So if anybody deserves a Heisman run, race, whatever, I think he can get there without them being – I'm not going to say quicker. I'm going to say without them having the greater success. Because I think some of the teams with the better records, their QBs might get pushed in front of Shedeur, as opposed to if we got a wide receiver that's playing corner at elite level, playing wide receiver at elite level. This is going to be interesting.
But see, I'm looking at the non-Oregons on the schedule, and I hate penciling things in, but I'm penciling in a 500-yard passing game for Shedeur Sanders for some of these teams they're playing up against. I'm looking. Well,
this conference isn't a defensive conference, so
and that's the thing is, and it's just like if he's putting up those type of numbers, I think the Oregon game is going to be a track meet. but like I said, Travis Hunter was awesome yesterday. And then I think with the at times the temperature on the field reached over 100.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to factor that in too. That this kid playing both sides of the ball at an elite level. He had a catch in the first half they took away from him, but just over the cornerback on the other team, the captain, they were basically glued to each other, and he still kind of caught the ball. He didn't have control all the way to the ground, but just the fact that he got that ball from him, kept a foot in bounds, and I was just like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, we got to keep an eye on this. Let me ask you this question: if you had to take away a weakness from this Colorado team from what you saw yesterday, what's the weakness? What's something they got to go in and be like, hey, if we want to be a team that competes for a bowl game this year, we got to work on this.
I think they got to be more stout against the run, especially up the middle. I think they're a little undersized, so I think that's going to become a place where they're going to have to kind of focus some resources, figure out some things, maybe scheme up something. But I think their downfall is going to be teams being able to run the ball a little better than TCU was. TCU only returned 3 starters, but they still had the depth no matter what. So that wasn't the issue. They still have talent. They've got 2 tight ends that probably, if they're seniors or they're going to be NFL products. They may not be first rounders, but they will get drafted at some point. So I like what I saw from Colorado yesterday, but I'm worried about them being able to stop the run consistently.
Yeah, I said the same thing, and it's really, this isn't the NFL where you can go be like, you know what, we need to stout up the defensive line. We're gonna go sign a couple guys, for rundown situations to take up some space. You kind of got what you got right now, and you said the big word. They got to scheme. They got to figure out different ways they can use what they have to slow down the run game. So. Big guy KG, why are you so quiet, man? You're not. Are the rabbits not working at the tower? Are they off? What's going on?
I'm not trying to interrupt you guys. I'm listening to the conversation here. I was waiting for my turn. That's all.
Oh man, fireworks!
Oh,
come on in here.
We thought you did.
No, I was waiting for.
I thought you had the pellet gun shooting at the tower to get the rabbits to wake up.
No. We good to go. We good to go. It's something that one of y'all said. You said about Deion if he goes 4-0. And especially if they beat USC. I thought about it. It's something Deion said to Larry Brown in Super Bowl 30. He said, you go catch another one, dog. You can run for mayor. I'll vote for you. Deion go 4-0. He beat USC, Oregon in that run. He can go ahead and run for mayor. Because he can't do no wrong. And to say that everything that was hyped up that came into this game, and it was even fans that were, fans is because he went to a HBCU and started coaching and things like that. And then because he left Jackson State, so many people were mad. It was like, oh, I never support him. He don't care about us. And, so many of our people turned their backs on him. But he was thinking long range. He wasn't thinking short term. But what did he do at Jackson State? He built them up into a powerhouse. They came out their first game with their new coach 37-7 W. They're still winning. Kids are still wanting to go there. So that's still good. Now he's building up a Colorado program. And I think that he's going to wind up building them up for 5 years. And I think he's going to bounce. He's going to go to a bigger one, a bigger school. But just my thought.
I don't agree with that. I think that, and I've always said this. I said this with the NBA players. You're not big until you can make a stop that's not big. You can't be in the top 10 of all time in my list of any sport unless you can go somewhere and be like, yeah, I'm the man here. I can do this. They never won before. Okay, great. Guess what? We're gonna change this program completely around. I truly believe, unless Deion just got his eye on Florida State, or he got his eye on someplace that is big time, and he wants to sit back and sip martinis on the beach or something. I think Colorado is going to be your next powerhouse school. Because just think of the big guy, KG just said it. His footprint is still on Jackson State, right? Just think of all the kids now that Colorado wasn't even on the list. Colorado wasn't even on the list. That now you got kids that want to go to Alabama, that want to go to Clemson, and now Colorado is on the list. And me and the Midnight Rider just talked about it because it's not going to be this year. But when you get them influx of 3, 4, 5-star recruits coming in at the next recruiting, and now you come out, with Shedeur Sanders and all these, and now you got some more backup behind them, and now you're starting to get the depth. It's going to be a long season for what are they? Pac-12. It's going to be a long season for the Pac-12.
Well, that's just this year.
Well, I'm talking about future. I'm talking about what they do this year. They're already on the map. They're going to start drawing kids in that they wouldn't even have been on the map. They're legitimately on the map with kids that want to go to Bama, the kids that want to go to Clemson, kids that want to go to Maryland, kids that want to go to FSU and Miami. They're on the map now. So he's going to start taking here and there and here. And then this team's going – we're talking about a bowl game this year. But I'm talking about next year when he recruits.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
No. So I'm just going to help you out with a little bit because thanks to the Wild Wild West that is college football and conferences, next year they become part of the Big 12. So they enter a new conference starting next season.
Are they Big 12 next year?
Next year, they move to the Big 12. This is part of that whole.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you put your son in your lap and you want to talk about old great ACC matchups and you can tell them about that great SMU versus North Carolina. I remember those days. I mean, it's so ridiculous. You guys said two things. I want to make sure I touch on those before I go off on a tangent. The move to Colorado. First, somebody said mentioned FSU. Personally, if I know Deion Sanders from what I think Colorado, him being at Colorado, was motivated by the fact that FSU didn't give him a job or didn't give him the chance. And I think he feels like he has to go to a big program, show what he can do. He's in commercials with this guy named Nick Saban. And I think that part one of the Colorado experience is that being on a big level, being able to show somebody that I can take a program, build it, and make it dominant on this level. Number two reason I thought was Shedeur Sanders had 3,600 yards last season, and I think he had like 40 touchdowns. If he would have been anywhere else, he would have gotten considerations for the Heisman. And I think part two of this move was to put Shedeur on the stage and let the world see him. And then we also build up his draft capital because this year and next year, the quarterback position in terms of the draft is going to be so dynamic and so full of big arm quarterbacks. One of the biggest arms in the country is in Tennessee, the kid Joe Milton. He can throw the ball 90 yards. He actually just said it yesterday in like pregame. They was like, what's the furthest you throw the ball? He said 90 yards. And I believe him. Tennessee had the two strongest arms in the league in the country last year. Hudson Hooker and this kid, Joe Milton. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But this realignment stuff is gonna change everything. Like you're gonna need what's funny is you're gonna need a map, or not a map, but a roster to figure out what conference teams are in. Because everybody's moving next year. The move is on. And this is what you said, Maryland, at one point in the conversation about places where kids want to go. And I'm glad you said it because when Maryland made their move to the Big Ten, their school president said to them, to the chancellors, do you want to be at the forefront of this madness or do you want to be on the tail end trying to figure it out? And they looked at him sideways and he said, look, in 5 to 10 years, this thing is going to blow up. Well, Maryland's been in the Big Ten for how long? For almost 10 years now, maybe close to it. And guess where we are? conference purgatory. Conferences are blowing up.
Ridiculous.
We got SMU and the ACC. You know, we got everything, and I'm waiting because the big shoe, to be honest, is Clemson and Florida State, because they're gonna be a team. They're gonna go together somewhere, and wherever they end up, that's going to shift the paradigm. Because now you're gonna start seeing conferences. I mean, a lot of these conferences at 17, 18 teams. They're not going to let divisions settle their conference championship. They're going to let the teams with the best records, so that way these teams can fight it out and you can get more big money. And especially when this thing goes to 12 teams and you're going to have the SEC with 6 or 5, the money's going to come in hand over fist.
Don't get me started on conference realignment. We ain't got enough time.
We got all the time in the world, baby. In the world, Craig. In the world.
This is our show. We got plenty of time.
But no,
just remember, we don't do no overtime.
This would take days because I mean that whole SMU going to ACC, man, that makes no sense. Cal and SMU. Is SMU on the Atlantic Coast? That's what ACC stands for, Atlantic Coast Conference. These are your teams that are up and down the Eastern Seaboard. Like, this is what it is.
I can't wait till Utah comes to the ACC. I can't wait. Utah.
No, I think, hold up. Utah is going.
No, I'm just joking.
I know you're joking, but
I was joking.
Because let's think about it. Because the Big 12 used to be the Southwestern Conference. And so now, instead of getting all the schools from there, I think they got Utah coming in, Colorado, and I forget who the third team is, but it's 3 teams coming in.
Arizona or Arizona State or something like that?
Possibly. So that's just amazing in its own right. That we're going to be like the Rose Bowl. The Bowl's going to have to start changing their format because the conferences they used to get don't exist no more.
Yep.
You're no longer looking forward to seeing USC versus Ohio State in the Rose Bowl because you're going to see that October 21st, Saturday, week 10 or week 7, whatever it is, on on Fox, because Fox got the Big Ten special or whatever it is. You're going to see games now that you would see in bowl games as part of a regular season package. And you said something about Colorado earlier. Colorado this year will probably have more nationally televised games than they had in the last 25 years. But the only thing I do want to see, because you talked about traps, and one of the traps is that Colorado State game. You got to manage the emotions because that's a big-time in-state rivalry. I forget what trophy you get. I don't know if you get a boot, a hammer, I don't know what it is. You might get silicone titties on the board. I don't know what it is you get for winning that ball game, but something happens in that game. KG?
I forget what it is, but I used to know all the rivalry trophies, but they don't exist no more. Like, you know, Notre Dame man.
The winner of that receives a Centennial Cup.
See? There you
Rocky
go.
Rocky Mountain Showdown.
But here's the thing. You talk about rivalries. Maryland versus Florida State in football was a good rivalry. You know, Florida State dominant. It was always
what? No. You said rivalry. You can't. That's not a rivalry.
Okay.
Because I watched some of those as a Maryland turf fan. I watched some of those games in tears and with my ass sore. So that's not a rivalry.
See, I didn't want to say, you know, Michigan State and Notre Dame playing for the megaphone, or the Notre Dame and Boston College playing for the Island Trophy. We don't get those anymore. We barely get Notre Dame USC playing for the Jules Shillelagh. Notre Dame and Purdue playing for the Shillelagh Trophy. We don't get most of that anymore. Those were games, no matter how bad the teams were, Those were knockdown, drag out, kicking, spitting, cussing games. We're not going to get any of this stuff anymore. We're really not. Those days are over. And as much as I don't want to say it, but times have changed, and they haven't changed for the better. So, just my thoughts.
I think it speaks to the world we live in. Like, the world has shrunk so much that, think about, because we're all over 40, I think. And if we are, then we've all been in the generation where, like, your sports was regionalized. You know, the reason it was regionalized because your TV, you know, you only got certain stuff on your TV. You know what I'm saying? This is not pre-ESPN, but before ESPN became ESPN. We were from that era where you had to root for the team locally because that's who you got all your coverage from. And you had on CBS or NBC, you know, a 5-minute sports show where during the news you had 5 minutes. Now these sportscasters get like 2 minutes, and they can't even go off script. They gotta just say, all right, here's the thing, this happened. Back to you, Maureen. That's it. That's the extent of the sports coverage. We're a long ways from the days that the George Michael's, what was that? The machine. What was the machine?
Sports machine.
The sports machine. That connected the world. That connected us to everything else outside the area. That was the biggest thing going for us. Now you got Sports Center, you got FS1, you got First Take, Second Take, Third Take. You got the cold pizza, frozen pizza. You got all these shows that have just popped up. You got gambling everywhere. So, like, we're in a different world now. The world is smaller.
But I don't know where you grew up because my sportscasters between George Michael, Wally Bruckner, Glenn Brenner, Warner Wolf, they always went off script. You know, we always had Wednesday wrestling. You know, my sportscasters went off script as a kid. That's where I learned how to go off script at. But I get what you're saying. And now, you talk about getting sports from around the world at your fingertips. Nothing's the same anymore.
What do you got next on the
I don't like it.
Uh-oh.
I think the Raptors will start messing up.
There you go.
I couldn't hear
It
me.
was a little choppy.
Okay.
No, we heard you. Just that
All right.
last little bit was a little choppy.
Oh, but you had questions before we jump off college football. We had a couple of blowouts today. 87, Oregon 8.
All right, now you fading. You fading
So I
now.
think you're going to your question earlier, where you were talking about if you're the coach of a team that got mollywopped this weekend, the 73-6. Who was that? That was Oklahoma and somebody.
Of course, I don't have it up now.
No, you good. It's
Oregon beat somebody. Arkansas State got mollywopped. Why can't I find my? I just
because there were 3 scores. It was 81-6, 73-7, and then 73-0.
Yeah.
And you asked us the question before the show started. As a coach, what do you say to your kids after that, or what do you say to the parents?
What do you say? Yeah. What do you say to the kids? What do you say to the parents? What do you say to your athletic director? Like, where do you go from there?
So we bring everybody in the room. You stand up in front of the room. You take the tape. You get a shovel. You walk everybody out to the middle of the parking lot. The middle of the field, like some random field that you don't use. You put the shovel in the ground, start digging. You put the tape in the ground, and you cover it up with dirt. You say, that's how much we're going to look at the tape the rest of the week. Let's move on. That's all you can say. You can't say anything else. That happened. Now we got to move forward because now we get back to the part of our schedule where we can be competitive. We took on Goliath. For the payday. Now we're gonna get to the teams that we're on par with, and let's handle adversity here and move forward.
I'm gonna take the big guy KG stance because I know he's struggling with some signal now. But isn't everything a teaching moment? Is there nothing you can learn? Can you learn anything from those tapes? Can you build off of anything good on those tapes? Or, like, I understand what you're saying because it's hurtful to the soul to lose like that, especially because you got kids that's coming from high schools that never lost before, never lost a game, and now all of a sudden you lose 81-7 if you're Portland State, you lose 73-0 if you're Arkansas State, Mercer 73-7. So can you go back and be like, look, this is why they're so good. This is what they do good. This is their execution. This is and you know, besides them having a depth chart of 4 and 3-star recruits, right? Can you go back to that tape and be like, look at this play. Look at this play. This is why. Can you make it positive? This is why you got beat here. So we're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on that. Look at their defensive line, and I know that's a big, strong guy, but this is when your technique comes in, and we got to work on your technique. Can you do any of that without further damaging the psyche of the squad?
You just took my answer from me when I was going to answer the question. Like, I don't know if I want to do that to my kids, if I want them to relive that moment. That's the only reason I say let's bury it and let's move on. And then you can, if you want, I would say, based on what you were just saying, maybe we cut up some clips. And all those clips don't have any point where the other team scores. But we cut up some clips where our kid got dominated, our kid got beat, and we kind of put that on a reel. You know, we show a couple guys on our offensive line, hey, if you reach with your outside hand this way or whatever, you don't get beat here. So I see the teaching moments you're talking about. I would definitely have it fine down to non-scoring plays and situations where we can teach from that. But it would be a very small select section of that ball game because I just don't want them reliving that trauma of 73 points being scored.
I think I'm the opposite, right? I think that's my motivation for the rest of the year. I think that 73-0 on our main scoreboard or main billboard, our teaching, it's up top in the corner, 73-0. And I think the speech to my guys is, you see how this feels right now? This is gonna be, this is not just football, this is life. So do you ever want to feel like this again? I want, and we talked earlier in the show when Deion went to Colorado and raised that bar. When he raised that bar, and I want to see y'all trying to get to this bar. This 73-0 lets you know that your shit stinks. What are you going to do? I want to, because whether you show them the tape or not, you get to see how your team and your staff reacts and rebounds. Are you going to drag it? Is this, because this could be damning. This could be damning. I mean, like you said, you're going to play schools now that's on your level. But it could be damning to the coach. Of course, we know that everything's about money and winning, and it could set the tone for that could break kids. Like, hey, we're not that good, and that could drag on. Or you're like, hey, get your head out your asses. We just got, the beating of a lifetime. How are you gonna spin this into a positive? How is your play on the field going to change? Because in a 73-0, I can show tapes to all 22 of y'all doing something wrong, getting beat, I can show it. And I think that would be something I would do. This would be your motive. This is your motivation. And I would put tapes in everybody's locker that played. That's your motivation right there. Show me you want it. And it would be a tape of them getting beat. It would be a tape of them getting blown off a block. What are you going to do? Are you getting I've been asking y'all to get in the weight room. I know some of y'all slacking. What are you going to do now? Because this is the result of that. What are you going to do? And then the coach is the same way. I'm gonna let them know that I got a tape on myself too. I got to take for
Right.
myself. I got to take for the coaches. We all in this together. We got to change this to be better. Do you want to? Because guess what? Some of y'all coming back next year, and guess what? It's a lot of those big name schools looking to put us on their schedule for week 1 next year. So what are we going to do next year? Are we going to lose 73-0, or are we going to come out there and lose 73-50? So are we going to be somewhat competitive? I think I would flip that and kind of take that when your dog piss on the floor, you rub their nose in it a little bit. Like you got to smell this. You did this. When we all got to be better. Big guy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just wanted to say I agree with that, but you gotta also realize we're in a different era. Those kids don't respond the way that we would respond. It was more along the lines of why coach picking on us like that? We did the best we could. Yeah, well, your best wasn't good enough. But see, it's a quote. I can't remember. I think it was they were talking about Lombardi and asking did he have favorites. And Jerry Kramer was like, no, he treated us all like dogs. That's my coaching philosophy. That's the way I treat my kids. They always say, do you got a favorite kid? No, I treat them all like shit. I don't. You're not playing favorites, but even when you win, I still need to dissect you and break you down. Not saying that I'm not going to praise you, but I have to break you down so you don't get complacent. But when you lose, I have to show you, hey, this is where it's at. This is why you lost. This is why we lost. You didn't lose it. We lost it. But the question is, are those kids going to respond to that? That's the problem. Will they respond?
They responded to Dion. Dion came in and basically said, I forgot the exact line. My luggage is Louis. And he's basically telling them, if you ain't what I want, they go to transfer portal. He didn't care. I sent you that clip last night where he's in the press conference. He's like, why do you think what you're saying about me affects me? So it's just like, are you going to, look, you came here. Are you going to cater to these kids? You got to cater to them some type of way. You got to be a good, positive role model. But do you want to play ball or do you want to be coddled? And Dion's not coddling anybody. Nick Saban's not coddling anybody. If it ain't done my way, get the hell out of here. That's when you see Nick Saban clips of Nick Saban's practices, Bill Belichick, these guys, they're like, if you're not going to do it the right way, I'm going to get somebody else in here to do it.
But that's also the beauty of having quality position coaches and coordinators, because the head coach can be the asshole. He can be the jerk. But after that, the coordinators and the position coaches are the people that you're in contact day to day, moment to moment. So they're responsible for the relationship, the mindset, and things of that nature. The coach is just all about the totality, the whole 53 or the whole 90, whatever it is. So that's definitely a thing about that, or that kind of dictates how the head coach can act, because the other coaches can come in and be the nurturers. The head coach doesn't have to be the nurturer. The position coach does.
So you saying basically have like that old Bill Walsh clip where he was yelling at the coach and he told him straight up, how you going to correct me on the field, Paul? I put the fucking thing up in the booth. How you going to correct me down here? But he had a conversation with all the coaches, said, okay, I'm going to pick on you today, Paul, and I'm going to yell at you about this so the guys know that we got to get this right. That's basically what you're saying.
Hey, exactly.
Gotcha.
Hey, before we move on, something very big happened yesterday in college football, and it may not be on everybody's radar, but the University of Virginia played its first football game since those kids were killed after coming back from that trip. I know Tennessee made some nice gestures because I think they played at Tennessee last night or yesterday. Tennessee did beat them, but that's just a remarkable moment in its own right. You have this tragedy, and one of the kids, I think his name is Mike Hollins. He was one of the guys that got away in the shooting, and he played his first college football game. since the incident. I know those kids have to be traumatized. I know I have a guy I went to college with. One of his sons is on that team. I haven't really broached the subject because I don't want to bring it up because that's just one of those things that they got to deal with. And if I could be a fly on the wall to see how that team got back together and like just played football, it's amazing. But of course, it also talks about being resilient and resiliency.
Absolutely, 100%, 100% agree, man.
So if y'all look like cornerbacks, UVA has a corner, number 9, Cohen King. I went to college with his dad. His dad's a track guy. Went to TC. I think they won the 4x1 at what's the big thing? Penn Relays. Their senior year was 93, 94. But the kid can ball. There's a couple other kids we're going to spotlight throughout the season. But I'll give that special one just because it's close to home, especially after what I just said.
All right. Well, we looking at almost the 47-minute mark. So rapid fire. USA falls to Lithuania. Lithuania shot 14 of 25 from 3-point range. Does this end the hype train for the U.S. men's basketball team?
What hype train?
I was never on a hype train for this squad. This is something.
They were hyped up about it.
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, I felt like this team was.
I remember.
They were, if they were going to win it all, it was going to be, they were going to squeak past. But it's just a matter of time before, they were going to get tripped up. They got outscored in the first quarter, 31-12. Yeah, so they set the tone off the break. Lithuania just came through, and Anthony Edwards was 14 for 26. Live by the 3, die by the 3. They shot 37%, 11 for 29 for 3. I mean, it's not really too much. It's not surprising. It's not. I'm just not sitting. Say it again.
I was just saying, you going through stats. What did Jalen Brunson do today?
Jalen Brunson, 4 for 10, 1 for 3 threes, 14 points.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards had 35. Bridges had 14. Brandon Ingram had 10. You go to Lithuania, and they're just consistent through the board. Valanciunas, 12. I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of these names. The starters, got 3 starters in double digits, 12, 11, 11, 9, 6. Off the bench, 10 and 14. Somebody had 15 off the bench. Somebody had 11. They shot 56% from 3, 52% from the field, and 80 from free throw. They're not playing star ball. And for Anthony Edwards to take 26 shots. It's the same guy that said we don't have no Kobe on our team, right? Ain't that what he said when Steve Kerr was talking about coming off the bench to help the team?
Yep.
Kobe. Yeah. So
there's nobody better than him. I agree with him on that statement. There's nobody on that team that he should be coming off the bench for.
No. I agree with it, but at the same time, that means that you got to be that guy. You got to be that Kobe. You got to be that guy that wills your team to win. That doesn't allow your team to go down to 31-12 in the first quarter. That's what the Kobe's and the Michael Jordans of the world did. They willed their team. They kicked they gave everybody a shot in the arm, and be like, hey, nah, we just gotta, they went to the other side. They went to the other team's bench and grabbed momentum and brought it back to their side. That's what they did. And you don't have any guys on this team that even you're not scared of this team. This team is.
Well, this is what you get with the FIBA World Championships because a lot of the stars decide, all right, I'm out for this one, call me during the Olympics or call me for the Olympics, and I'll be ready again. I mean, let's think about the top players that are American born that aren't on this team. We didn't exactly bring, we didn't bring our Louis. You know what I'm saying? We might have brought something else, but it wasn't Louis that they brought to the World Championship games.
They bought the Burlington Coat Factory luggage. That's what this is. It does the trick. It's on sale. Might have a few scratches on it and little imperfections, but it works. That's what this is.
And I was gonna say that. I said FIBA, they don't bring the big guns out. They don't bring the guys, the I ain't gonna say, I don't want to call them second tier players, but they don't. Of course, Olympics, you bring out your LeBrons, your ADs, you bring your top tier guys out. It's the level under them that should be in the FIBAs. And even when we're in the era of the 90s with the Dream Team and Dream Team 2 and those guys, when it was the FIBAs, we were sending college players over and rookies, and they were over there dominating. Now, granted, the game is different now, all the way around the board, but I'm sure we got more talent than this. It's not that big of a drop-off, is it?
No, the difference is the way the game is played. We don't teach the game fundamentally the right way anymore. We allow these kids to develop, and there's no structure in their development. There's a reason that Luka Doncic can come over here and drop 36 and say this is way easier than anything he dealt with. I guarantee you at some point when Bam Yama is going to be like, oh, okay, this is sweet. And it's because A, the effort on defense, B, the lack of physicality, and C, the fact that the structure, these guys don't know basketball on certain levels well enough where you can get by on pure basketball ability. And that's the reason they lose. They lose to teams because these teams play together the whole time, not because it's an emergency and we got a bronze last year. Oh, we got to get America back. And we go on this mission to bring American basketball back to its forefront. And we do that for 2 years. And then we go back to doing everything the way it was before. There's no centralized focus on basketball in America, especially on this level where we're asking these guys to dedicate their time and their lives to these events, whereas everybody else brings their star players.
I disagree.
But the thing is too that the Americanized game is hero ball, and hero ball can be great sometimes when you're watching a guy, drop 40 and 50 points. It looks good. It's the highlights for Sports Center and all the big shows. But when hero ball don't work and this guy's off tonight, and that's who you're running your offense through, and nobody else knows how to do anything fundamentally. And you just nobody on the Lithuania squad had over 15 points. Nobody. Everybody that played scored. Everybody that played scored. Josh Hart, he's starting guard, starting shooting guard, didn't score. So I mean, they got off to a slow start. I hate to be that guy, the old guy, but it's just were they partying the night before? Because, if you look at the other quarter, second quarter, they outscored Lithuania by 25-23. Third quarter, they outscored them by 11, 28-17. And then the fourth quarter, 39 all. It was even 39 all. So it's there, but why the slow start? Were you guys out partying? What are y'all doing that? I don't know. I just feel like you're supposed to bring that noise. We always go back to the Kobe clips in the Olympics and what he did for those guys and what he brought to the table. They weren't allowed to start slow. They weren't allowed to slack off. They knew when Kobe came, they had to play to a certain level. We go back to what I said about Deion Sanders raising the bar. Kobe's here now. We can't fuck up. Yeah, you don't have a Kobe on this team, and Anthony Edwards ain't that too. There's no guy on this team that's like, hey, I'm going to go out and party with y'all tonight, and then knock on their door at 4:30 in the morning. Let's go practice. But we just got in at 3 o'clock. I don't care. Let's go. They don't have that guy. They don't have that guy. On the court or off the court, they don't have that guy. And this is just going to be what it is. It's hopefully they qualify, but if they lose again, I'm not surprised. And it's not. This isn't must see TV for me.
I don't know what happened. I thought Jerry Colangelo and Brian Colangelo put in a contract that if you were going to play for Team USA, they needed a 4-year commitment. A 4-year commitment. That was for the World Championships. That was for the Olympics. That was for everything that came in between. You're supposed to give up a 4-year commitment. And, of course, guys had to rotate in and out. What happened to that 4-year commitment?
Well, I think they don't do that anymore. I think that kind of ended after this last batch. So they got to start up a new commitment or a new session, which I don't think they've done yet. And I could be wrong on that, and it could be there, but I don't remember it being set up that way right now.
Okay. I'll do some research and let me write it down so we don't forget, but we'll come back on Tuesday with that. We'll talk, commitment in USA basketball.
Exactly.
Last but not least, Commanders sold out FedEx for the Week 1 showdown with the Phoenix Cardinals. Nope. Chicago Cardinals. Nope. The St. Louis Cardinals. Nope. The Arizona Cardinals. Commanders, hopefully, with this sellout, it's not like I've been told that we sold out games for years and come to find out they were fudging the numbers. But a sellout 2 weeks before the game, and this was announced last week during the week, or earlier this week during the week, last week, whatever, during the week, that the game was sold out. All tickets are gone. Positive trend, gentlemen?
I think it's the known. I mean, I think we all knew if you had any kind of finger on the pulse of this city and this what was happening, I think this new ownership was going to give us these moments where these sellouts will happen, and they're going to happen because they're Commanders fans wanting to come back. Guys that gave up their tickets or didn't want to support Dan, now they're back, trying to take their rightful place as Commanders fans, as a part of Commander Nation. Let's use the word. They're re-enlisting their commitment to being a Commander. There you go. BJ?
Yeah, this is who they play. I think it's a perfect scenario. Who they're playing. This is equivalent to a powerhouse Week 1 college football. They've sold out. Everybody's excited. They can go in and put their foot on the Cardinals' net and just right at the 50-yard line and just impose their will, look great, and increase that buzz the next week. This is the perfect scenario. The Cardinals don't have anything. I'm not going to say this is a trap game or anything. The Commanders should walk out of here with a double-digit victory. I'm just saying. It's just the Cardinals aren't bringing anything to the table. Anything. If this is a close game, if this is 17-16, might have to rethink some things. Might be time to fire Ron out there first. If you don't come out of here in this Cardinals game and you don't knock the decals off their helmets, it's a picture floating around where it's a young man walking off the football field, his jersey all ripped up and stuff, and the captain said, "My son's first game," or something like that, and they was like, "Well, who was he playing? Lions and Tigers?" That's how the Cardinals should look leaving FedEx Field after that first game. If they don't look like that, we got problems. I'm logging off. I'm logging off.
I agree. I think this should be at least a 41-6 shellacking to set the tone. And I'm saying that. I see you shaking your head. I can see you shaking your head. But I'm saying that because this is a bruised, battered, weak, and tanking team. They have 3 receivers on their whole entire roster. their biggest star on offense is James Conner.
And what's our biggest weakness right now?
I guess it could be the run game. But here's the thing.
Because what I saw in Cleveland, week 1 of the preseason, and I haven't seen them since because some reason they got the rest, was Cleveland able to do whatever they wanted to do on the ground. So they got to show me before I have the confidence to talk about 41-6, or this should be an easy win. I don't have that confidence because I haven't seen this defense perform. Are they going to be? I mean, I know they practice hard and they do all these things, but are we going to be able to look at this team defensively and be like, I know what I'm getting from them? I don't have that feeling. I just don't. I know what y'all are saying about Arizona, but I'm honestly more scared than anything. Maybe, since I grew up on Joe Gibbs, I got that Joe Gibbs vibe. I feel like, this is a trap game. This team, guys, let's not underestimate these boys and let's not do this because they're a very good team. They run the ball well. I don't know. I struggle.
If you say there's some tough suckers, I'm leaving and you can have this show. If you say that means you've been brainwashed as well. Because that's when you started talking, the first thing I thought was, yeah, there's some tough suckers. They can do this, they can do that, and no. Oh, jeez.
Well, golly gee, I think they are some tough suckers.
Hey, yeah, I know we're getting out of here and wrapping it up, but if they come in here, I don't know who's starting QB for them. They got Joshua Dobbs and Clayton Tune as the third QB. If they come in here, I'm just looking over their roster. If they come in here and give the Commanders any type of problem, we got problems on the next show. That's all I'm saying. If they come into FedEx Field from Arizona, purposely tanking, I said it, on the last show in the comments, they're purposely tanking. They come in here and they give this team any type of issue. If this isn't a homecoming victory type game for the Commanders, we got way more issues than what we thought with this Commanders team and the coaching and everything else. This Commander squad better put up 4 touchdowns on this squad. This is if I'm the coach, I'm not coming in here, hey, this is a trap game. And I'm like, if you don't earn, I'm giving out stars for the helmets. If you don't have 4 stars, you're not playing next week. Like, we better beat the red off these fuckers. They come in here, they better leave in ambulances. Their butts better hurt so bad they can't even sit on a plane ride home. They gotta ride back BBL. They gotta ride back BBL style. This better be a drumming of the era. They should absolutely think about retiring this franchise after they leave FedEx Field. With the hype that's with the Commanders, with the defense that on paper, with let's not talk about paper. Let's just talk about Payne and Allen in the middle. This better be an absolute, like, waving the white flag on the sideline, like, hey, is there a rule that we can, connection to your opponent loss type thing? If you're not watching that Fox broadcast, if you're watching it and connection to your opponent is lost come up, like, people quitting Madden, something's wrong. I'm being dead serious. If Buffalo's playing Arizona, I'm starting all my Buffalo people in fantasy. They better not. If they're playing the Bills, they better not be anywhere close to us on the score. That's how I feel. The new Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills from the last 2 or 3 seasons. It's certain teams now where it's not a trap game. Y'all better go in there and beat the brakes off of them. And this Arizona team is going to be that team. Somebody better go in and beat the brakes off this Arizona squad.
So I don't think my neuralizer took well. So I don't think it's 1991. I still see the time when Detroit was 0 forever and they beat us to end their winless streak. I still see when the Rams were struggling and they came in here and beat us to end whatever losing streak they was on. So I apologize for being traumatized, but yeah, I got to see some things before I get to this point. I don't have any comfort going into the next week, and it's gonna get worse because I'm gonna see Buda Baker, and I'm gonna think of them having some exotic blitz scheme set up for us, and yeah, I'm just not comfortable. I'm not ready yet.
Ross said, "Sorry guys, late had to pick up my demon seat in Solomon Island." It's all good, Ross. Um, Final thoughts before we get out of here, though, fellas, because we running over.
We're doing overtime.
Not quite. We're not quite in the overtime yet. The boss BJ don't pay overtime normally like other employers, but we getting close to it.
I pay overtime and toenail clippings.
See, I don't want overtime because I don't want to be paid like that. So final thoughts before we go.
I think if you're a college football fan, tonight's a special night. You get Florida State versus Louisiana State. To make it simple for the layman, FSU against LSU. Last year's game was out of sight, probably one of the best college football games of the season. And tonight, you're going to get another showcase of that. You're going to get Jordan Travis at quarterback for FSU versus Jaden Daniels from LSU. And if you don't know, there's a pass rusher for LSU. Of course, right as I said that, his name jumped out of my head. He wears number 40, and you'll see number 40, trust me, a lot tonight. He started as a true freshman last year, and this is going to be a game that you got to sit down and watch. Get your wings, get your popcorn, get your beer set up, and enjoy tonight. And make sure you remember you don't have to go to work tomorrow.
Some of us don't have to go to work tomorrow. Some of us have to go to work, baby. All right, so look.
Some of us are at work right now.
Unfortunately. Listen, if you interested in fantasy football, we got a league going. I don't know how many spots we got left. How many spots we got left, big guy?
It's one officially, but we can make it 3 if need be.
Okay. If you're interested, definitely hop on. We'll repost the links today. We also got the ESPN Fantasy Pick'em where you pick the winners each week, and these are free to join. So, we always say come and join, show your knowledge. I think I won the Pick'em last year. I just don't remember who won. And I think Big Guy won the fantasy.
No. I want you to say it the same way you said that you won in Pick'em, because I won fantasy last year.
You won fantasy?
And I won it by a landslide. I led the league in scoring. I led the league in wins. Like there was no, I almost led wire to wire, but I had 1 week where I was number 2. That's okay.
That's okay. Ben joined us, over the last. How long have you been a part of the show now, Ben? Midnight Rider.
Gosh, I think it's like a year and a half, 2 years. Like I know last football season, I started showing up consistently.
So we've been doing the pick'em for a while, and I think I know Junie won 1 year, but I've been kicking ass on the pick'em, and now we're out of the notebook, and we got an official site where people can make excuses. Oh, I forgot to put my picks in.
Oh my God, you remember that? Somebody did that. I mean,
but which counts towards your picks. If you forget, you forget.
Right, but so what you're saying is, what I'm taking this as, now we got an official site. We on ESPN. That's great. But you're saying we was in a notebook for the first 4.5 years. You saying that I was
great. No,
I was cheating?
No. The notebook was great.
That sounds like guilt.
No. The notebook was
great. Like guilt.
But the site allows us to. You could just hit share, and it shows you everybody's standings. So what I'm saying, and I'm not singling out the big guy. What I'm saying is, I don't want to see your comments saying, "Oh, I knew they were going to win. I knew they were going to win the division." I'm going to hit share from ESPN, and you show us that you said that such and such was going to win the division, or such and such was going to be at this record. Show us. This is your time to shine. Show us what your football knowledge is.
Okay.
You know,
So let's
earn that group expert badge on the Facebook page for American football.
Okay.
Come on, we want to get this stuff out. Let's go. I'm talking trash. Everybody in the Sideline Junkies group. I understand the fantasy football can be, time consuming, trying to set your lineup and remember this. But we pick football games every week. Come on, hop in that pick 'em and show us what you got. Cause I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the pick 'em. I'm taking the pick 'em. I'm taking the pick 'em.
So let's do some housekeeping real quick. So that means Tuesday either needs to be our football preview because Thursday night is the game.
Right.
Yes.
We always preview we recap the Sunday and Monday game on Tuesday, preview the Thursday game. Thursday we kind of do an abbreviated show because we try to get off the air before kickoff.
Right.
Of course, Sunday we pick Sunday's games. We talk about Thursday's game, pick Sunday's games. Well, I highlight our quote unquote marquee games because I remember we used to go through every game on the schedule.
Yeah,
we had to do 2 shows.
we did.
So
Tuesday night is the official Sideline Junkies NFL preview show.
But we're gonna put a button on that because we're gonna have to go into WhatsApp. We might have to change some things around and make some things fit because Tuesday's too far away for that Thursday's game. So we may have to adjust some things for football. NFL is the only thing you can adjust things for. It's just that powerful. The Shield is that powerful. But we got to talk about some things, and then on the Tuesday show we can make some things official for the scheduling for the shows for the NFL season.
Okay. And Ross said he work at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. One more programming note. You get a double dose of the Sideline Junkies. WrestleManiacs will be back later on tonight with a reaction show from Payback from last night for WWE. I think it's AEW All In again this weekend.
Yep.
Tonight. You'll have a reaction show. We'll find out for sure. Was it a work or was it a shoot with CM Punk getting fired? You want to find out? Stay tuned. Be sure to be with us after the AEW All In pay-per-view is over. So, gentlemen, it's been real. I got to go home. Well, I'm home. I got to change clothes and get back at it. So, for the Midnight Rider, the boss BJ, I'm the big guy KG. Y'all know the motto, baby. We don't do no overtime because we don't like getting paid in daggone toenail clippings. We are out of here.